if you're currently in a rut, then this video is for you. There's a mentality out there that kind of goes, go, 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 or like always be pushing forward towards the next thing. And that's not only not very helpful, but it's frankly very exhausting, I think. A lot of us are introverts. We kind of want to work on our creative hobbies just for fun, right? And unless you're in a high stress situation, maybe you're doing music for a living or really any creative endeavor, you don't always want to be in that go, go, go mode, right? So I personally feel that being in a rut is actually completely normal. Like having a loss of motivation just means that your body is trying to reset. It's trying to get refreshed in some sort of way. And you have to listen to those signals, as I've learned in the hard way over the years. And so I've kind of mentioned this before on a coaching call of mine for my coaching program, Chris's Inner Circle, that I've always tried to keep music as a hobby. Whenever you start thinking of music as a job or something you have to depend on in order to make ends meet or pay the bills, that's when stress can really start to pile up, because you know that no matter what happens, the bills have to be paid, right? Taxes have to be paid, etc. And if music is your only source of income, that can place a lot of stress on something that you originally picked up as a hobby, right? Because I think a lot of us, we got into music because we love making music. We don't make music because we're forced to make music, unless that was your upbringing, in which case that's, unfortunate. But yeah, I think a lot of times we kind of expect ourselves to be pushing and pushing and pushing, and we start to feel guilty when we look at other people being so productive, and we just feel like we have to be catching up to them, or we're always a step behind. And I just want you to know that that feeling is completely normal, but the healthiest thing we can do, honestly, is just to embrace that feeling and I think take a break. Even if it's just a few minutes or maybe, a couple days, a couple weeks, maybe even a month, just finding some time away from music can really help to just give you that mental reset. One thing that can really help, by the way, after you take this break is to find some sort of new goal. I really do believe that goals and deadlines are things that can really give us a sense of purpose in the work that we do. So like for me personally, prior to 2024, like let's say from the period of 2022 to 2023, I was feeling a little bit demotivated. I was sort of waiting for inspiration to hit me in order to create music. And I was like, if that feeling comes, I'm just waiting for that feeling. I'll be able to write so much music and I'll be so much more productive. But that feeling never came. So in a way, that's very, very scary, because I'm just like, well, what if this feeling persists of just not having any motivation? That could be forever. I never know if I'm going to make any music ever again. So that's when I made that resolution at the end of 2023 that I was going to work on 3 studio albums or 3 major projects throughout 2024 to not only hold myself accountable, but see if I could, under some sort of pressure, output creatively in a way that I was proud of and create results that I was happy with. And those 3 projects were a live recital where I wrote music for piano plus different solo instruments. The second was a pop album as a follow-up to my debut album Freedom back in 2021. And the third project was an original Christmas album, which is probably my favorite record to date. If you're looking for some new Christmas music, by the way, with like big band and vocals and strings and stuff, you can check that out on the channel. It's under one of the playlists there. Little self-plug. But anyway, so I feel like having those deadlines for myself really, really helped to establish a goal. Like knowing that I wanted to do the live recital in June, mid-year, I was able to work backwards and say, okay, if I want to have this met by June, then I have to start writing by January. The pieces have to be done by, let's say, March. I have to get them orchestrated by, let's say, May. And then I have to be practicing with the musicians throughout May, right? Or like even the beginning of June. So you kind of give yourself that end goal in sight, and then you can work backwards and figure out all these steps in the middle that you have to take in order to reach that goal. Same with the second goal, the pop album and the Christmas album, So I think once you have that mental break, giving yourself a chance to just relax and take some deep breaths, we all need that sense of restarting, Again, in Western culture, we're always just being pressured to go, go, go. And it really isn't that healthy, I think. So yeah, once you have that time to breathe and simply just appreciate everything you've already done, then you go back in with a new mindset, a new goal, something to strive towards that you can really attain in a reasonable amount of time. And for me, that was over the course of a year, I wanted to do these 3 projects. Now, of course, I felt some pressure along the way because I'm just like, if I can't even meet my own goals, how can I expect clients to depend on me, right? But then again, I feel like if you're working for clients, you don't have the time to second guess yourself and kind of, sulk around or have a loss of motivation affect you, because these people are depending on you, they're paying you. So, of course, you're going to have a high priority for them. But we a lot of times hold ourselves to that exact same standard and we burn ourselves out. So we have to have a little bit of leniency, I think, when we're working on our own projects, but also have those very clear goals and deadlines to keep ourselves accountable. So you can see there's a fine balance there. But I hope that was helpful. Again, being in a rut is completely normal. We're never going to be completely inspired all the time, 24/7. It just doesn't work like that. And I think if we keep ourselves in that mindset, then we're just bound to crash and burn eventually. It's never healthy. So if you resonate with this, please let me know in a comment below. I'd love to hear if there's a single takeaway that really stood out to you. Please let me know below, and I'd love to conversate with you there. Otherwise, I've got some free resources as usual in the description that you can check out to take your learning even further, whether that's for sample libraries, learning the tools that I use, or learning my complete process, my workshop, where we literally go through the entire process from start to finish, how to make music from beginning to end. I always include some sort of resource to take you further. So if you want to check that out, that's also down below in the description. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you in the next video, and I'll see you very, very soon. Take care.